Oh, I normally don't do one of my little videos, but because for the first time in a while, I'm actually here, I'm going to go ahead and play. Although it looks like the same exact position, I am in Mexico right now. And Mrs. Vile literally just woke me up because I slept through my alarm. I woke up like less than 10 minutes ago.
Hey, guess what? You just went live.
Oh, nice. Oh, and there's one of my alarms to wake me up. Make sure that doesn't turn back on.
Hey, I like how I repurposed this spare bed. You know, the extra bed for guests.
I can't even really tell, dude. Hold on.
Yeah, it's one of those It's one of those little extra beds that folds up. Well, my grandson hasn't been here for a while, and he's too big for it. My wife made the comment of using it as a futon. I turned it around this way, and I was like, "Hey, cool! I get to watch TV now on a nice, comfy something I can kick my legs out on."
Dude, I'm zooming in, and it looks like there's empty beer cans all over that table underneath the window.
That window?
Yeah, it looks like there's beer cans underneath on that table.
Well, there's a beer can right here. There's one right here that hasn't been opened.
Why has it? Why? Whoa! Why is there a closed beer can in front of you, dude?
Who cares?
The other one. I'm still drinking the other one.
There's a closed beer in front of him. What the hell's wrong with him?
Elihu, who cares?
Here.
Oh.
Elihu, who cares?
MB with a closed beer? That's weird.
Elihu, you'll like this. When I was doing my spring cleaning, found 14 grams in my that got lost somewhere in the back.
How do you lose weed?
Well, if you're gonna hold on. I got a question for you, MB.
Yeah.
I know this is gonna affect Elihu more, but how do you feel about Texas banning marijuana and people trying to start ban it across country again?
It's not going to work.
Why?
It's not going to work because it's an unwinnable issue. I mean, think about it. The war on drugs has been going on since the 30s, 20s. And we haven't really made any progress on it. And we have come far enough to now people are like, look, weed is not the gateway drug you all tried to make it out to be. Nobody I knew who smoked weed went to a harder drug because of peer pressure. You know why they did it? They wanted to.
You know, one of the main reasons why Abbott criminalized marijuana in Texas is because of a latest quote-unquote study that came out that stated that cannabis smoke is more harmful than tobacco. But here's the thing. Nobody knows who actually paid for that survey because a lot of surveys are paid by corporations who actually affect this, like smoking, the cholesterol industry, the heart industry. These companies actually pay for surveys to say go in their way. But I'm not sure if this actually survey was paid by some independents or a conservative or a whatever think tank. I'm not sure who actually did this survey to influence the results of this. Because you guys remember in the 50s and 60s, 8 out of 10 doctors said smoking is good for you. Well, the smoking industry paid for that survey. So who's actually paying for the survey? I cannot find this out. I heard about the survey. Does anybody know about the survey?
Hold on. One, doctors never said smoking was good for you.
In the 50s,
what they said was the healthiest cigarette is brand X.
Thank you. Sorry.
That's what they would do.
Sorry.
So,
thank you.
And remember, I say that as someone who smokes tobacco.
Yeah.
But here, I'm going to play the clip. Oh, wrong.
Isn't that more an intro?
I understand wanting to protect children, but you have grown adults who are using these products too. Is there a way to do this where grown adults could still have access to these products?
We don't want adults having this either. What are you, crazy? You want to go home and eat a bag of this tonight? See if you're here tomorrow? This is, we focus on kids because that's where
Toss me the bag.
But adults are buying this stuff too. Make no mistake. We want to protect the 20 and the 30 and the 40 and the 50-year-olds too. We don't want anybody buying anything off the shelf that could kill them or ruin their mental state for the rest of their lives. The young man who was 22, who stepped in front of a train after he ate some of this junk, he wasn't a kid. He was an adult. That's crazy talk. That's the kind of talk, the reason why we're here. Media that would say something as stupid as that.
Dude, there's no way around that.
But hold on. I want you to notice something, NB. How does he wrap it up? He's not saying that he wants to really ban it for malicious reasons. He wants to ban it to protect people, to protect children, to protect the adults.
Yeah, same shit I've heard before.
But I'm just saying, that's the same rhetoric. Remember, that's the same rhetoric they're using all over the place. It's not to...
No, it's been the same rhetoric. Yeah, it's been the same rhetoric they've been using since I remember, since the 80s. Here's the difference.
Oh, I'm not just talking... No, I'm talking about when the way they frame it, they're framing it not to start harm, but to minimize...
Yes, I know how the propaganda spin works, okay? I've heard enough of the left do it. This is one of those guys who just, no matter what, he's like a Lindsey Graham. They just are like, no, it's all or nothing. It's like, no, we got to get rid of this for the health of people. Oh, shut up. Okay, I want to know something. I really want to know something. Elihu, you ever met anybody, you ever known anybody who OD'd on marijuana that wasn't laced with something?
Sorry, say that question again. I didn't hear you.
Have you ever known anybody who has overdosed on marijuana that wasn't laced with something?
It's going to take me a while to think about that because I cannot recall any incident.
Yeah, that makes two of us.
As far as I know, biologically speaking, you can't really overdose on THC other than unless you're like ingesting like distilled THC. If you're just smoking marijuana, you're not going to be. There's almost no way to overdose on it.
Yeah, that's why they added with something. I'm like, no.
Here's how the joke works. It's like why a guy doesn't OD on marijuana.
Hold on.
Hold on.
Do you agree with Darren here? He's saying that the legalization of weed is what's making fentanyl profitable.
How?
I don't know. That's what he's saying.
I gotta add that doesn't tell me shit. That's just telling me what. That tells me nothing. Anyway, why you won't OD on weed? Why you won't OD on marijuana? Put 100 joints in front of the guy. Put 100 joints in front of him. By the time he gets to the fourth one, he's already ordered the pizza, got the movie on, grabbed the cat, and is probably snoring right now.
If smoking marijuana is so much as bad for you, Snoop Dogg would have been dead years ago.
Snoop Dogg pays some. Snoop Dogg has a guy on payroll to roll his shit. Imagine having that job. What's your job? I roll blunts for Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, damn, good job.
You know Martha and him are choking it up.
Him and Martha, yeah. You got to remember, it's alleged Barack Obama smoked weed in the White House as well with Snoop. It's alleged, but it's actual fact that Willie Nelson did smoke a joint on the roof of the White House. That's fact.
Okay, seriously, I don't care. You're the president of the United States. You got Snoop Dogg in there. He offers you a joint. I'm like, well, who's going to piss test the president? Come on, you wouldn't have come on, you wouldn't pass it up.
I did not
personally, I don't smoke weed.
Not you, I'm talking about Elihu. But there was a comedian. You know who Fluffy the comedian is, the king of the Mexicans?
I know who Big Fluffy is. Yeah.
Yeah, Fluffy. Yeah, so Fluffy goes to Snoop Dogg. You know, he's got that podcast he does. Anyway, Snoop Dogg has a podcast. Fluffy gets invited into it, and he's up at the gate of Snoop Dogg's place, and he's like, name, please. And he gives his real name, and he's like, that's not on the list. It's but under another name. He goes,
Calvin.
and he's like, I don't know, Fluffy. Gate opens. He comes in before the show even starts. You know, you got Snoop Dogg there puffing off and waiting, basically handing it over to Fluffy. And Fluffy's doing this.
Morning, babe.
And he's like, and I'm high.
Hola, Mrs. Cardenas.
Hello, Mrs. Goodings. And one of the funny things is his son was with him after the interview. Of course, his son is like, hey, Dad, can I smoke some of that weed with Snoop Dogg? And here's what he goes, this is where you have it, and he goes, well, son, you're 18. I never got anywhere past that. I turned around, my son was already gone.
Well, to add to the thing, about 3 days ago, the House Appropriations Subcommittee on Agriculture, Rural Development, and the Food and Drug Administration advanced a proposal covering the fiscal year of 2026 in a 9-7 vote, sending a bill to full committee, basically to ban all cannabis products in the United States again. In other words, it's already criminal. It's still federally illegal, but this would mean that any business that sells these products would be liable to federal crimes and be shut down.
It never passed the House.
Well, as I said, it's only passed the subcommittee. It hasn't gone to the committee, but
It's never going to pass the House. Too many of those people live in states that have dispensaries. They're not going to want to lose that vote over something they know is a losing issue, because it is a losing issue.
I don't think it is anymore.
No, it no longer is a losing issue. It's been won. It's already been won. They're just too stubborn to realize it's over.
Except for the fact that it's still a federal crime. Remember, it's on according to U.S. law, federal law, it is still illegal.
Yeah, blah blah blah. Nobody cares except for a few.
That's why you cannot. That's why dispensaries cannot have a financial institution to have their banking. They have to have it at a credit union. And by the way, I gotta go to Geloja. Sorry, be right back.
So what? They put a federal. It's already illegal.
No, this would mean that they could go after the assets of any business that sells those products.
I'm telling you, it won't happen. I'm just telling you, it won't. The war's already lost. The war's already lost. It's been lost for a long time. Marijuana is legal in states. They've decriminalized it, and it doesn't matter. It'll never pass. More states have legalized marijuana in one form or fashion than have not. The only state around here that has it illegal is my state. So everybody, you know what everybody does? We run to the borders. Go to Indiana, Kentucky, one of the other states. Me, I just drive 30 minutes.
Well, the rhetoric that's being used against it again,
oh God,
I just don't see how you could be so confident about it.
Why not?
Well, just to talk about what's going on in my state.
You smoke weed? Well, your state.
No, I don't smoke weed.
Got a lot of problems right now.
I don't smoke weed because it hits me a lot harder than anything else. It's one of the only drugs that hits me hard.
There's some people who can't. Their brain chemistry can't handle it.
So that's why I don't.
Okay, fine. Why are you worried about it?
Well, because I like the revenue for my state.
Okay, I understand that. So
California is collected 160 million excise tax and 114 million in sales tax last year. Marijuana
okay,
sales.
so Elihu, seriously, think about this. This is what I'm trying to convince the Mike about why this would never work. Simple fact is, too many people in the House live in districts that have dispensaries. This affects their community. These
Okay.
people are not going to vote for it.
Hold on. Did Texas have dispensaries?
Yes.
Did they collect taxes on it?
Yes.
Yes, everybody
Did the people vote on it?
Yes.
And yet the governor still banned it.
Yes.
And let's face it,
Well,
Texas is basically the heart of the red republic in this country.
when I helped craft legislation for California, one of the main points was revenue. The taxes. This is what helped it.
Thing. Also, it would help in the medical industry if we were. I mean, okay, you want to know how I know this will never work out? Because I openly tell my doctors flat out I smoke marijuana. They're like, "Do you lose any illicit drugs?" Marijuana. They say, "Okay." Other times they'll say, "Man, I wish we could give that stuff to people."
Here
Well,
they never
they
call
used to-
marijuana
they-
illicit. They call recreational, like alcohol. They don't call it
Yeah.
illicit.
From what I understand, doctors will prescribe still THC for certain things, especially chemo patients that are suffering hunger issues.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking. Yeah, I understand that part, but I'm saying in my state, they are on this firm grip in certain parts of the legislation and the executive, unfortunately, despite many of us trying to argue it, they are holding on their position that the federal government has to decriminalize it first before they'll allow us to have it. That's been their whole position the whole time is, except for a few who don't really want it anywhere, which I'm thinking are people who never been around that lifestyle.
Well,
I mean, seriously.
the reason, again, I don't understand this confidence that it's not going to happen when it's already happened in one state, and a state that basically
it happened in a state. In my state has already stated nothing. We're not going to put any legislation out. Okay, it's a state level issue. Is weed still legal in California?
as of right now, yes.
What's the problem? Okay, then what's the problem about Texas? That's their choice. And if they don't like it and they want to reappoint and retry again, get a Democrat, you know?
Hang on, MD. Texas has a history of prosecuting and seeking criminal charges against people who go out of state to violate state laws. For example, abortion. They are trying to prosecute women who go out of state for abortion. Now, imagine this. Hang on. Imagine if you go out of state to buy marijuana, smoke it in the other state, come back, the cops find out, oh, you did this, you're against the law, you broke the law, you just smoked marijuana. It's like people in Hawaii, because it's like if you live in Hawaii, gambling is illegal in Hawaii. Do you think Hawaii should prosecute somebody to go to Vegas to gamble? No, this is a big deal. Texas is one of the points in America about legalization and shit. This is like California. People look at Texas and California, dude.
You're missing a key issue here. You're transporting a product just like I'm doing.
No, I'm not talking about transporting. I'm talking about using it.
You can't.
I'm talking about using it. I'm not talking about transporting. I'm talking about using it.
Now you're going a little overboard here.
Texas wants to criminalize people for crossing state lines for abortion. Same principle. Do you think Hawaii should prosecute Hawaiians for going to Vegas for gambling? No. It should be within the state. Texas is one of the key points for legalization in this country, as well as California. People look at Texas and California. What's going on in America?
I think they're more now. Florida's also.
Nobody looks at Ohio or Iowa.
Okay.
Nobody cares.
What are you guys so freaked out about? Okay.
No. I'm not freaked out about it. I'm not freaked out about it. because again, what I was concerned with was the fact that they're trying to shroud it with trying to protect people. The same reason that they're trying to arrest all the illegals.
Yeah, instead of just coming out admitting they want their
Because they want, they say they want to protect people, but that's not what we're seeing. And what are we seeing? What are we seeing here in California?
You want your slave labor.
I'm sorry, people who work in restaurants are not slaves.
Are they here illegally?
One of the restaurants they raided, where we had the big thing here in San Diego, not a single person was illegal. Every single person working there was. Oh, no, hold on.
So they were all citizens.
No.
They were all citizens.
Everybody was citizens.
Of the United States.
Every single person there was here legally.
How were they here legally?
They either had work visas, or they had green cards, or they were natural born citizens. They were still raided. People were still arrested.
Oh, really?
And remember, that was the one that they threw the grenades at people.
All right, prove it to me.
How do I prove it to you, other than the fact that they themselves said only 2 people were arrested?
So where'd you read it at? Where'd you read all this information at?
AP.
The Associated Press. Did you confirm
Yes.
it? Did you confirm it?
Unfortunately, no, I was not able to confirm it. But according to the CBP, only two people were arrested because they didn't have IDs on them, not because that they were illegal.
According to them. Okay, so
according to the CBP.
Okay, according to this, and according to some anonymous source. No, it's always interesting how that works out.
Okay, so you're basically not going to believe the fucking news.
You seem to believe what one channel said. They're all legal, but they're all here legally, but you can't show me anywhere where they've found this documentation that proves that.
Because they didn't provide any documentation.
Well, why don't the media?
Why isn't the federal government providing the documentation?
What do they have to?
I would imagine they would have to. Wouldn't you want to have documentation if you're going to be arrested?
I'm an American citizen.
Prove it. Do you have your ID on you?
Let's see.
Oh, wait. No, we're going to say your ID looks fake, so we're going to arrest you anyway. Like they did to that Armenian kid up in L.A.
Okay, smartass. Let's see. How do I prove who I am? Let's see. Birth certificate, social security card, military.
Do you have it on you at all times? Do you have your birth certificate on you?
Sorry. Hold on. Sorry. Hold on. NB, sorry. I'm here to arrest. No, sorry, NB. I'm here to arrest you. All that looks fake, so you're still going to have to be arrested. Sorry.
I've been arrested. Big deal.
Okay, so you're to be detained.
Been detained.
All right, so you're perfectly okay with that.
What? Listening to the cop? Yeah, because if I'm going to go, they're going to say I'm going to jail. I'm going to jail no matter what. Why make a situation worse?
All right, so now you're going to be deported.
No, I'm not.
How? You're not getting due process?
What's going to stop you from being deported?
Well, let's see.
You don't get due process because you're here illegally.
No, I'm not here illegally.
Yes, you are. I'm the person arresting you, NB. I've said you're here illegally. You have no valid ID because the IDs you've shown me are fake.
Are you in? Oh. Where are you?
I'm telling you that they're fake because I'm the one arresting you.
Okay, so let's see. In my
Hang on a second.
And because I said you're illegal, you don't get due process, remember?
You can't win it.
Can I say something? Hang on, guys. NB, I want you to do myself, Mike, and the rest of the world a favor. Please look up yourself how many American citizens have been detained by ICE. Look it up yourself, okay? I'm tired of looking up this information because you have internet access, dude.
They got detained. Boo-hoo-hoo.
Detained is the same as being arrested by ICE, okay? Look it up yourself, man. I'm tired of looking up information for you when you have internet access.
I've been detained and I've been arrested. I know the difference.
Yeah, and that's because, Dandelion, we didn't, I say that, but I'm not really a Democrat. When Biden was in there, we did things legally. And by that, I
Yes.
meant we as the country.
Why don't you
Yeah,
just
to do a dandelion thing. Obama administration deported 3.16 million people. Biden's passed 4.4 million.
Yeah, what was the difference between Biden being able to do that and Trump?
Because ICE were not wearing masks, and they were actually identifying themselves in uniform, dude.
No, hold on.
Fucking ass thing. Y'all can shut up about.
No, hold on. No. Seriously, it is an issue because
No,
I'm gonna bring up something because I used to work for Jack in the Box back in the day. Hold on, I'm gonna tell this story.
Why don't you just
I'm gonna tell this story. 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 I'm gonna tell this
Mike
story.
has the power to mute people.
I'm gonna tell. All right, NB. I'm gonna tell this story because I think it's important. When ICE came to the store where I worked at, it was one guy in a business suit. He had a badge on that said he was from ICE. What he did was he went to the back room. He checked the records. He realized, yes, we had someone there who was working illegally. He told Jack in the Box, you have to let this person go, or we will show up with actual agents to have him arrested when he comes back to work. Because he now, when they looked at the records, they know when he was going to be at work the next day, and he ended up coming to work anyway, voluntarily being arrested so he could be deported because he didn't want to cause any big issues for the company or for his family who was living back in Mexico. It did not require a fucking tactical squad with rifles and grenades and an armored vehicle to arrest him. Why do we need a tactical team now?
Well, in your state, you guys are getting in the way.
We didn't get in the way during the last administration. We didn't get in the way during Obama's administration. We didn't get in the way during Bush's administration. We didn't get in the way during Trump's first administration. Why is it different now? Why do we need these tactical teams now?
Because y'all screwed up the first time when we had when the border wall was going up, and all you did was stop.
Okay, there were not tactical teams when the border wall was going up.
Well, now you need tactical.
Why do you suddenly need the tactical teams?
Psychological propaganda showing you we're not fucking around, and also
Darren, hold on,
and Darren also showing that you liberals care more about your slave labor than you actually care about the people. You support slavery.
And Darren, the protesters are there because of the tactical team. So you can't say that the tactical teams are needed because of the protesters. There weren't protesters when we were doing this the right way.
This is
so far, no protesters or rioter has been arrested and identified as MS-13 gang members. Okay, so stop with the propaganda bullshit, dude.
Oh, hey, you guys should be happy, right?
Oh, are you? Sorry, babe.
Garcia is coming back to the States. Yay!
Yes.
Yeah, he's getting charged for being an Uber driver. Yeah, he's getting charged for being an Uber driver. That's what his charges are.
Oh, I love the video of him with where he was right there, human trafficking 7 people.
Thank you, babe. Mrs. Vile just brought me coffee.
He's getting charged for being an Uber driver. Oh no.
No. Elihu, hold on. Elihu, he will be charged with any crime that he actually committed, and I'm grateful for that. He needs to have his due process. That's what we wanted.
Yeah, y'all made a big deal about a guy who literally was profiting in slavery.
Sorry?
You guys spent taxpayers' money, went down there fighting about this guy, called him a Merlin man. And, looks like he was a coyote, a sex trafficker. Oh, yeah.
Okay, you understand. We didn't have an issue with that. We had an issue with the fact they didn't get due process.
Oh, yeah, you do have an issue with that because a lot of you are now saying this is all made up.
Well, I don't know if it's made up or not. I would like to see it come out in court.
So you think administration's lying to you about these charges?
No, I'm saying that I want to see them come out in court.
Whatever. He'll still go back to El Salvador when it's all over.
Well, if we can get the court to actually agree with that, then we'll see. Because, you know, the whole thing is in court, you're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah. Well, either way, he gets to do that, and then he'll still go back to El Salvador.
Yeah, Latino slant. Yeah, he did have due process in court because the judge found no merit in criminality against the previous charges when he was there for misdemeanors. This right here is when he was deported. He had no due process whatsoever for deportation. This is why people on the quote unquote left was upset. Somebody got kicked out of this country without due process. This is why people are upset.
Oh, I love the term the leftists come up with now. Undocumented citizen. That was cute.
I've never even heard that before until now.
Well, I'm sure. Well, let's see. We've gone from illegal to undocumented migrant to now undocumented civilian or undocumented citizen. Except there's a problem. They're not citizens. You are subject to our laws.
So you really want to go into the nomenclature because both you and Darren have been calling them slaves.
MB just said they're subject to our laws, so that means due process. Wow.
You guys love slavery. That's why
you just said they're subject to our laws, which means due process.
So are you saying that? Hold on. So by your own standard, are you saying that I'm marrying a slave?
No. Is she here working illegally?
No, but she if she's arrested in the States, she would be deported, right?
Nothing. Shut up. You're so fucking got your head up your ass with this. You can't see the forest from the trees, buddy.
And if the issue is going after criminals, why are they going to courthouses to arrest people? People who are trying to do it legally.
I don't know what normally happens at a courthouse trials.
I can tell you this: when somebody is at an immigration hearing, they are currently under the judge's orders a temporary citizen until the decision of the courts. They are going there by mandatory appointments. They are making their appointments. They are making their meetings. The judge said, "Okay, let me finish." As soon as the judge, can I finish what I'm fucking saying? As soon as the judge basically says, "Okay, we're going to continue this here," boom, they walk out of the court. They're getting arrested. They are doing everything legal. The judge cannot say anything outside the courthouse because the judge, if it happens inside the courthouse, the judge is gone. As soon as they step outside the courthouse, it's up to the federal jurisdiction. The judge has no say whatsoever. That's why they're staying outside the courthouse until the person steps outside. The judge is granting them, okay, you're still temporary. We're still doing this hearing. You step outside the courthouse, you're getting detained and kicked out of this country. That is fucked up. People are doing things legally the correct way, and they're still getting deported as soon as they walk out of the courthouse.
All right, Darren, here's my issue with this type of thinking. Okay, yes, they came here illegally, but when it comes to certain things like asylum seekers, in order to even request asylum, you have to come here illegally.
No, you don't.
Yes,
That's
you do.
Fucking lie. Fucking
because
lie.
No. Hold on. You
fucking
cannot request.
Lie.
You
fucking
cannot.
Lie. Fucking lie.
You cannot request asylum until you have stepped foot on American soil. Correct?
You can request asylum at a port of entry or an embassy or a consulate.
No. According, you have to request it by stepping on American soil.
You have to request the asylum, and you can do it from a consulate. You can do it from an embassy. You can do it from the nearest port of entry. And by the way, the nearest port of entry is not the United States. This is called forum shopping.
What the fuck are you talking about?
It's forum shopping. And by the way,
hey guys, I got clarification about this right here.
Military-age men.
Oh, hey guys, hang on. Asylum, you cannot request asylum to the U.S. from outside the U.S. Asylum for people already in the U.S. or a U.S. port of entry. If you're outside the U.S., you cannot apply for asylum unless you apply for refugee status, which is a different legal process handled by the U.S. Refugee Administration's program. This is the basics.
And Darren, yes, she is worried about that. Do you know why? Because a few weekends ago was my daughter's birthday, and I had a lot of stuff I needed to bring to the beach because we were going to have a beach party. I have 2 vehicles. I was going to have Mrs. Weil drive one of them. She decided not to even attend because she was worried that if she was caught driving my vehicle in the United States, even though she has a valid Mexican driver's license and a valid visa, she would be arrested and deported. So yeah, we were genuinely afraid.
Well, that's your fault.
Why do you think that it's our fault that we would be afraid?
Because you've been
NB, because that's what your side wants. They want us to be afraid. They want people to be afraid.
Yeah, it's showing flat out. We are not fucking around. We kicked this can down the road, and now we're enforcing it.
Well, now you know how blacks and Hispanics felt in New York when the stop and frisk was implemented. Anybody who had black skin or a brown skin got automatically stopped by police.
I know you get to live in your little white privilege world.
My white privilege world.
Yes, and yes, I use my white privilege on occasion.
Oh, fuck you and that white privilege bullshit.
That's because you don't have the issues that other people do.
I've been around
The reason you're not afraid of getting arrested or anything is because you're white.
Well, you're racist.
You don't give a shit. You don't give a shit about you actually being a citizen because brown people are being arrested without due cause.
Because I'm white. Fuck you. Fuck you and that racist bullshit right there.
No, even she's right here. Friends of mine, American citizens, are carrying their documents because they have brown skin.
No, that's their fucking problem because they live in your brainwashed state of idiots.
No, my state was doing just fine until Trump's shock troops decided to come in here. His little stormtroopers.
Oh, I'm sorry. I guess you're gonna have to have regular Americans work jobs now.
No, she is. We're technically not married. She's not a citizen of the United States. I'm in Mexico right now, at her house. I'm just parked out front because smoking.
Yada yada yada. Oh God! Do you expect me to feel bad because you got brainwashed?
No, Darren. White privilege is definitely not a myth because I've used it.
Well,
and I'll give you another example.
Okay.
My friend Marcus and I were driving to a convention. Hold on. My friend Marcus and I were driving to a convention in his car. When I was driving, we didn't get pulled over once. When he was driving, we got pulled over twice. He's black.
Oh, God. Here we go.
In fact, one of the times we were pulled over, the cop didn't even address him. He addressed me.
Well, that's your fucking cop problem, and that's your state.
And no, Darren, it is not required by law or anything like that to carry identification. There's nothing on the books that say you have to carry identification on you wherever you go.
And ICE agents have been claiming that the ID and the documentation that people have is fake. So what's the point of that?
You're dancing around the issue when it's a simple fact. The sides already came out and said it. The people you support have flat out and said, without these people coming in, we won't have people to wipe our asses. So just admit it. They want the white people. They want the brown people for slaves because they are elite white Democrats and feel they are entitled to these people.
So that's what you're saying. Again, so NB, what you're saying, NB, what you're saying is that Mrs. Vile's my slave.
No, it's not even close to what I said.
That's what you just said.
No,
you literally just said I wanted my slaves.
Explain what you just said, NB.
I said your state wants your slaves.
No, because we paid ours.
Oh, you paid them? You paid them $25 an hour?
No.
Why not? Isn't that your minimum wage?
No, our minimum wage is $17.25.
So you pay them.
That's what we paid them.
Does everybody get $17.25 an hour? Can you prove it? Why are all all these people running? Why are all these people suddenly running?
Because the color of their skin.
No, because they are here illegally and they know, oh shit, my gravy train is gone.
No,
Yes.
we're not. It's not the
That's
white people who are running. It's the brown people who are running. Oh my God! Even Darren saying minimum wage is racist. Oh my God!
Wow.
Hey, you are all for slavery.
And, no, it's.
How is it slavery?
Yes, and I do agree with Latino Slant there. It is a smart move to carry your ID on you at all times. But the problem is, with a lot of these people, they're saying that certain IDs look fake, so they're still being arrested.
Oh, really? Where'd you hear that from?
Hold on. See if I can upload a video real quick.
You got any proof of this happening?
Yeah.
Or just some news media that says they heard it from somewhere?
Well, where else are we going to hear it from other than the news? Because the government's not providing that information, right?
Well, neither is the left-wing news. They hate this. We're all trying to play humanity, and now you're
okay. So hold on. So, MB, what would be a good enough piece of information to show you? Because the federal government's not releasing any of the information, and you don't trust the news sources for the people who are witnessing it.
No.
So what would actually be good enough evidence for you?
I'll tell you right now. If you don't have it on your phone and you're just telling me it, I'm gonna take what you say with a grain of salt.
Here's a link for you, dude. I just put a link in here for you, and I'm gonna put another link in here for you. I'm gonna put 2 more links in here for you to show you that people are getting detained because cops think that their ID is fake. Here's several links for you, dude. This is not one website, not one news agency. These are 3 different news agencies. Okay, here you go, dude. There's some links. Do your research. Look yourself, man.
No,
I'm tired of this.
But again, he's not going to believe these, Elihu, because he's going to call them left-wing media sources, so he's going to ignore them. Because that's what he gets to do. He gets to ignore any evidence that we show because he says that they're biased. And the federal government, which he supports, is not going to actually release that information themselves. And the right-wing sources aren't going to report it because they don't want to. He gets to sit there comfortable and deny anything that we say.
No, I just want proof and telling me the news.
What? I just explained why any proof that we show or evidence we show, you wouldn't accept.
Is this? Yeah.
You won't accept any evidence. That's the problem.
No.
Unless you're like Fox or News or Breitbart, right? Unless it's Fox, Breitbart,
third party.
Or OAN. Is that the only news source you believe?
Hey, I want the due process, so show me the paperwork.
See, look, even look what I did. Darren's proving my point. He's literally laughing at the sources that you provided because he's going to say that those don't count as actual sources.
No, I'm not saying that. I haven't looked at it yet, so I have no idea.
Where can we get the evidence that show you? What evidence would you accept? That's what I want to ask.
Let you know if I read it.
From where? From where? What source, dude?
I don't.
The question.
I'll get on this. Okay. Does anyone here like ground news? I hate to plug something that doesn't pay for my channel, even though they do everyone else's. Does anyone else like ground news?
What is ground news?
Ground news.
Yeah, explain what that is.
Okay. It's a news aggregate source. And one of the things they do is you read an article, you can type it into their little search engine. It is a paid service. And Latino Slant in the chat says he uses ground news every day. Okay. One of the things they do is they'll show the biases of the news agencies reporting. And they'll say that this particular issue or this particular item, what sides of the spectrum are being represented here via the news. And you'll see a lot of these stuff that me and Elihu are getting onto aren't even reported by right-wing media. Sorry,
What's
I meant to.
media? Okay, what's right-wing media?
OEN, Fox News, stuff like that.
How are they right-wing?
Really?
Yeah, really. You tell me.
You're telling me that the OEN is not right wing?
OEN.
OAN.
Sorry, OAN, One American News.
Isn't that the one? Is that the one Cuomo got on?
I don't know if he was on there. I don't actually tend to read their articles all that often.
Then why are you asking me about it?
And I'll be honest, Darren, that's why I like Ground News, is they'll point out things like that to me. Unfortunately, I use their free version, or at least what amounted to their free version beforehand. But it is a really good source of information. And the thing is, NB, a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about isn't reported on right-wing media at all. And a lot of the things that, as I said, the federal government is doing is they're not releasing the information.
What information do you want?
Okay, like for instance, the arrest record for the Armenian kid. Okay, the one that was pulled out of his car for having a quote-unquote fake ID. He was called they were calling him a Mexican, even though he's Armenian. They pulled him out of his friend's car. They when he showed him his ID, they said that your ID is fake, and they arrested him and detained him for 3 days.
And what state did this happen in?
Minnesota? I'm sorry, not Minnesota. I'm sorry. It was.
I thought it was Florida.
Where is it?
It's kind of a
Alabama.
big difference.
Alabama. American citizens are born detained. Wednesday, Nicholas Telemundo got video of this. The ICE agents thought his real ID, quote unquote, real ID was fake. And after several days, a family member provided a social security card and number, and they released him. They thought his ID was fake. This is from UPI.
And what's interesting, as you again say that there's no such thing as white privilege, the white kid in the car was not arrested, and apparently his ID was apparently just fine.
Was he the driver?
Yes, he was the driver.
Matter. It doesn't matter if the driver or the passenger.
I wish I'm plugging their content even though I don't pay for it, Latino Slant, but I definitely wish I could afford to pay for it right now because it definitely helps.
And Darren, relying on just one source or just one side source is generally a bad idea. I actually agree with you on that. That's why I look at different sites. I look at Fox, I look at OAN, I look at AP, I look at CNN, I look at different news sites and see what they're saying. I don't start go on one news organization and go, okay, this news site is saying this, and this is this. And I don't care what everybody else says. No, I look at every single news source before I actually post something or retweet something.
Look at various different news sites because if you'll notice, in some cases, it's literally the same exact word for word, just a different title. It's usually they are reporting.
Yeah. Let me give you an example. There was a shooting here a couple months ago. One news. There's two local newses. Okay, Channel 2 and 4.
Okay.
Channel 2 news headline stated this quote: "Shooting inside park." The other news headline says "Shooting outside park." So I'm like, okay, who am I going to believe? Did the shooting happen inside the park or outside the park? The shooting happened 3 blocks away from the park. I have to go to multiple news sites to see exactly what the story is. I don't go by headlines or anything else. I read shit.
Yeah, that's the problem. A lot of people only look at the headlines and they
hold on. As much as I really want to continue this conversation, I want to talk about one other thing for about 5 minutes before we switch over to the CNA stream, just to get it out of our systems. Because I did put it in the title. How do you guys feel about the little Musk Trump breakup?
I haven't really paid much attention to it. Doesn't seem like that important of an issue.
Well, I do. One of the things I did notice was a lot of these ICE raids in California didn't really start until this Musk Trump thing.
No, it was coordinated months ago. I'd actually heard.
I know. It probably was.
No,
but I just thought it was interesting how the news coverage.
I heard it was because the head of ICE said they were planning for California, and I heard him say this months ago because they were saying, yes, we expect heavy resistance in California. So that was planned months in advance. Besides, isn't Elon moving stuff to Texas?
I think the real question. I think the real question, MB, is Wild Mike wants to know: how do you feel about the president saying, "If you give money to a Democrat, I'm pulling your government contracts"? That's what Trump said.
Do we have any proof he said that?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, we do. Look it up yourself. True Social.
Hold on.
News.
Latino Slant makes my point for me. It was not coordinated, but the timing is interesting, especially when it comes to the news coverage.
I'll be
So
honest
that
with you,
was the point I was making on that.
I'm
But
to be honest with you, I don't care about two egotistical billionaires having a friendly spat or whatever.
Okay, neither do I. But the point of the matter of the what I just said, Trump, the president of the United States, said, if you vote for us and if you give money to another political party, I'm cutting your personal government contracts. How do you feel about that?
I think that's him being bowstring. I don't think he could really do it. No,
He can.
Those contracts are set up in the legislative branch.
Well, to be honest, so were some of the contracts that Doge canceled. They were set up by Congress, and Doge was able to cancel them when Elon was in charge. So
Doge didn't cancel anything. They made recommendations.
Daily Beast, Fox News,
there's not enough transparency.
New York Post.
There's not enough transparency.
There's things you think are bullshit. Isn't that so easy how you can do that about things that you suddenly
Well, the reason I'm saying that is because the transparency of the Doge, and I hate using that term, is less than ideal.
I don't
So
look, if y'all are going to make a big deal about them having some kind of billionaire ego trip with each other, go right ahead.
Dude, this is not about billionaire ego trip. This is about political. Because a Republican said, if you give money to a Democrat, I'll cancel your contracts. The president of the United States can legally cancel his federal contracts. So what do you think about this?
All right.
He's giving money to another political party, and it's like, oh, no.
Hold on. I want to point out. I want to point out what Dandelion just posted, and I appreciate this very much. She posted the a 40% off code by that link to Ground News, and I would recommend us all, including myself, sign back up for it.
I'll check out their I'll check out their free site for a little while. I really have been trying to cut back on, like, for example, I'm cutting my Apple TV until fucking For All Mankind comes back in Silo, because that's really the only two shows I watch on there.
Oh, and it supports. I mostly hear it, ironically, from a right-wing guy I follow because he's actually very knowledgeable, Ryan Macbeth.
I'd never heard of Ground News.
It's actually both Legal Eagle, a left-wing source that I follow, and Ryan Macbeth, a right-wing source that I follow. Both support Ground News, and it's just kind of interesting. And I'm plugging them like crazy on one of my streams, but Ground News, I'd be happy to do a sponsorship on the pre-show politics for your stuff. But all right, about 5 minutes before the CNA stream starts,
he's like, call me. World.
Yes, because I don't know if you guys have noticed, SD GameSwap does not sponsor this stream for various reasons. So this stream could definitely use a sponsor.
Well, it would be inappropriate for a lot of the stuff. I mean, you can't do the stuff we're doing on your other channel. That is,
Well, on my other stream.
Yeah,
Same channel, different stream.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, I'm gonna get some more coffee.
And if you really want sponsorships for this channel, we need to get my subscriber count up. I gained 6 subscribers this week, and I lost 5.
Don't you love when that happens?
So,
Oh.
that's
and
why
by
the name of the CNA stream. But I'm going to end this stream, and I will see you guys on the CNA stream to talk some nerdy shit. No politics allowed.
Hey, speaking of quick politics, I got one person watching my auction, Mike.
Awesome. And I want to thank Latino Slant for being a new person on the channel. Thank you for your input. You both agreed and disagreed with me, and I appreciate that. And agreed with NB and disagreed with MB. So,
hey, Latino Slant, good to see you again, man. It's been a spell.
Yeah, hop up on CNA in 10 minutes.
All right.
Latino, come on.
I'll see you guys in about 5 minutes. Bye.
All right, bye.